Welcome back to the TwinSpires Jury. I'm Ashley Anderson here with James Scully and Darin Zoccali to talk our best bets and fades at fairgrounds for Lecomte, and we'll also look at Gulfstream Park. James, it's good to have you back from vacation. You missed an interesting jury last week with Blaze filling in for you.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Look forward to trying to pick some winners.
And Darin, we'll start things off with you today. Tell us what your best bet of the week is and where you're going to play that.
Yeah, I'm going to head to Gulfstream Park on Saturday. They've got a competitive field in race number 7, which is a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds. And there's a horse that I've actually had in my stable mail that I've been waiting to bet back, and he's been on the sideline since October in the form of Live to Ride. Live to Ride is owned by Evan Traumer. We'll give him a shout out. He's one of the best contest players in horse racing in the country. Live to Ride, a son of Kingman out of a Johannesburg mare. Certainly an impeccable pedigree. The dam was stakes placed. She's produced 4 turf winners and a stakes winner from 7 starters. The debut was scheduled to be on turf. Race was taken off. They left the horse on the main track, and he didn't really do much running that day. But then from there, he did get a start over the grass on October the 26th, where he just kind of got into his stride, was settled way back in the field. And that day, Jose Ortiz was clearly in no hurry whatsoever. And they could not have gone any slower up front in the middle part of that race. This horse was completely pace compromised. He made a very aggressive move on the far turn to get into contention and probably couldn't have run any faster than he was through the stretch. He did show a little bit of greenness and ducked in a couple of times, but he looked like a horse that had a lot more to offer. Now he's getting his 3rd lifetime start, 2nd start, hopefully over the grass if things obviously weather-related stay on the turf at Gulfstream, fingers crossed there. Will benefit from the addition of Lasix, Tyler Gaffleone, one of the best on the track. Just a lot of positive angles here for a horse that I think has a very bright future. So for me, best bet will be a Live to Ride in race number 7.
Yeah, like a lot of those angles, the Lasix for the first time as well. And James, what's your best bet?
My best bet is number 7, Plum Tricky, in the 6th race at Fairgrounds on Saturday. This is a 3-year-old filly making her 2nd career start. She was bet down in her career debut last month at Fairgrounds and broke slowly over the sloppy track. Plum Tricky did, but she offered, I thought, a solid move on the far turn, swung out wide to put herself in contention, and then sort of leveled off like down the lane. But Dallas Stewart, he wins at a 15% rate second out. His horses tend to improve second time out. And in her Plum Tricky's benefit, I mean, she has recorded 2 sharp works since then. I think those works in that race will tighten her up for today's performance. She's the first foal out of an unraced mare who is a daughter of 2011 Kentucky Oaks winner Plum Pretty. Really well-bred filly by Speightstown, Plum Tricky is, and I think she still has a good future for Dallas Stewart, so I'll look for her to move forward in her 2nd start and graduate. 10-1 on the morning line, Ashley. I love that price.
Yeah,
I love the pick too. I was just going to say, I don't know if she's going to be 10-1 because I do think the sheet players are going to warm up to her pretty quickly, James. She had a really wide trip and earned a really sharp Ragozin figure. And the only horse that actually comes close to her that's run already on the Ragozin sheets is Believe Her. So unless a horse like Yes Indeed or another first-time starter gets a lot of money, and maybe Motown Dynamic for Steve Asmussen fits that mold. But I think she's going to take some money. I think she's got a big shot.
Yeah, I was looking at Believe Her as well. But if you're looking at trainer win percentages at Fairgrounds, Chris Hartman's got a little bit a lower percentage winning at Fairgrounds, but Dallas Stewart 20% clip at this meet so far. So I like your pick, James, especially if we get somewhere close to that one. Well, you all picked 2 maiden races, which are definitely tricky, but I'm going to take it over to Silver Bullet Day, the Kentucky Oaks Prep at Fairgrounds this weekend. And I'm going to take a chance with number 1 Perfect Shot at 4-1. The winner of this race will get 20 points toward the Oaks leaderboard. And I know a lot of money is going to come in on West Omaha, 2-1 on the morning line, just finished 2nd to her stablemate in the Untappable. But I like Perfect Shot here, moving up in class off a maiden win. And it did take 3 tries for Perfect Shot to break her maiden, but she started out at 7 furlongs, finished 4th, then was 2nd when stretching out to a mile, and then stretched out to 1 1/16 of a mile and was able to reach the winner's circle. So I like her here at this distance of 1.70 miles, and her Brisnet speed figures have been improving with each start. She's coming off a nearly 2-month layoff for Steve Asmussen. So if you're looking for a better price, I don't think you're going to get a good price at all on West Omaha. I'm going to take a shot with Perfect Shot, and the rail post is winning at a 21% clip as well.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like Perfect Shot's chances. I think she's a progressing gun runner filly for Steve Asmussen, and I really liked her maiden win last time. Yeah, I'm a little bit against West Omaha. I just didn't like that runner-up effort off of that easy wire-to-wire maiden win. The wild card in this Silver Bowl day is the Oklahoma-bred Miss Code West, because she ran nearly a second faster than Otto the Conqueror, who won the Springboard Mile on the same card. So I do like the Perfect Shot pick, though, 4-1. She won't be the favorite, and I think she does have a big upside, like I said.
What about you, Darin? Are you gonna fade West Omaha?
Yeah, I like your pick as well. I totally agree with James's sentiments as well. Miss Code West is the wild card in there. She's run some fast races. Love the I think the bottom side of her pedigree, she's out of a Kipling mare, and I think Kipling might have been by Kelly Kipp, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah.
Richard
So
Dutro, maybe, or something.
yeah, so that's a real throwback New York pedigree with Kelly Kipp on the bottom, I believe. But no, Perfect Shot. I really like the last effort at Churchill. I love horse coming out of the races that day at Churchill Downs as well. There's some pace signed on here. She should work out a good inside out trip. I don't think West Omaha is a cinch in this spot at all. And Sistina Chapel really didn't throw me in the untappable either. And I think you could probably do better than her in here also.
All right, so looks like we're all fading West Omaha. Let's talk about the other horses we're fading at a short price. James, who do you have?
Well, number one, Chasing the Crown, is the 3-1 morning line favorite in race 7 at Fairgrounds on Saturday, and that's going to be my best fade of the weekend. Chasing the Crown recorded, I remember back in early in the spring, he recorded a nice entry level allowance win at Churchill Downs, but he went on and ran in non-winners at 2 other than allowances his next 2 starts, finished second in all 3 of them, but then went on the sidelines. Hasn't been seen since early September's, never raced on Fairgrounds turf, and I didn't like the inside post draw in a big field either for him. So coming back off the layoff, not having won or been really lightly raced since the spring, I'm going to try to beat him. Number 7, Point Proven, who exits a good third in a wood chopper, is like one alternative, and there's a couple other in there as well. So Chasing the Crowns could be my fade. Darin, who do you have for us?
Yeah, I'd like that fade was one of my top fades of the day at the Fairgrounds as well, for all the reasons you said. I'm going to go to the turf in the Colonel E.R. Bradley Stakes, race number 11, the 9 Beatbox. It's a horse that I like, but in a spot like this, is a fade for me. I know it's coming out of a good race, a good prep for this. Beatbox's backstory is that this was a horse that was pretty highly thought of by Chad Brown. Ended up racing at the Meadowlands, where he broke his maiden over the turf course there. Then went to the Keeneland Racehorses and Training sale a few years ago, sold there for $70,000, and then went to Turfway Park, where he had a bang-up winter. He won the Dust Commander Stakes after a good win in an allowance before running 5th in the Kentucky Cup Classic. Form since then has been a bit in and out. Fade angle for me, though, is that this horse is unproven against this competition on turf. He's yet to win. I know he's got a good last time out. He was a decent second 2-back, finishing behind a horse in Rising Empire that he faces again here. But that point in and of itself, Rising Empire was able to beat Beatbox soundly 2 starts back. I know he didn't run well in his subsequent try, but just for that reason alone, the fact that he's facing tougher here on the grass from a wide draw, I'll try to beat Beatbox at a short price, Ashley.
Well, Darin, I have the same fate as you, so no objection here. But to kind of piggyback off what you said, looking at his turf record, he's 1 for 6, and his only win came in his 3rd career start on turf, and then that was 12 starts back. He also, his last win overall came on all weather, and his speed figure most recently in that last race you talked about at Fairgrounds, it dipped by 8 points. So I see a lot of reasons to fade this horse as well. I don't have much else to add because, yeah, I think we're both on the same page here. And I am curious, though, real quick, for our viewers that know Darin or don't know that he's also a DJ. Do you know how to beatbox?
No, you don't want me beatboxing. I let the machines do the work. I just stand there and hit the buttons. You don't want me beatboxing.
All right, I won't make you try, but I will ask you to tell us about our promos at TwinSpires this weekend before we move on to what else you're watching for this weekend.
Yeah, that's more my speed. This Saturday coming up, obviously a fantastic day of racing at the Fairgrounds, and we're going to give you a 15% profit boost featuring the Lecomte Stakes, but included on all the races on the Fairgrounds card. You opt in winning win, exacta, trifecta, and superfecta wagers will get you a 15% profit boost on top of what you bet. So up to $25 for the day. So you might as well cash some tickets and enhance those profits with that profit boost. Be sure to be opted in. We also have a Kentucky Derby future wager pool kicking off this weekend. And we have a great offer where it's a bankroll builder, where if you participate in these future wager pools, we're going to accumulate all of your wagers throughout the different pools. And there's different bet get levels throughout. And depending on what wagering threshold you hit, give you a bonus the week of the Kentucky Derby that allows you to have a little bit extra for the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and the best week of racing throughout the year. So opt into the Kentucky Derby week bankroll builder as well. And of course, the winter money back continues to go this weekend. Selected races for second and third. Be sure to be opted in and check out which races are being featured. So I'm going to start to have these offers start to show up a little bit more aggressive, and a big one coming up for Pegasus. So we'll give you a little bit of a tease for that for next weekend as well, Ashley.
All right. And we're talking a lot of fairgrounds, so certainly use that profit boost this weekend. And Darin, what else are you going to watch for this weekend at fairgrounds?
Yeah, it should be no surprise that on a big day of racing, there's a big maiden special weight event earlier on in the program. And Brad Cox is going to be sending out a couple of runners here in Exploration and Air It Out. Excuse me, Exploration and Cornishman. This is going to be in race number 8 on the program. I just thought it was interesting to take a look at them. Exploration is out of a mare by the name of Tangier. And this was a $900,000 purchase at the recent sale over at Keeneland. And this horse, when you take a look at the dam side of the pedigree, there's a lot to like. There's some really serious runners in the maternals line. Taris Tango, Visionaire, who won the King's Bishop Stakes. A nice horse by the name of Scarlet Strike. So this horse certainly looks well meant for Brad Cox. And then they have the other one out towards the outside in Cornishman, who is out of a mare by the name of Penwith. Penwith is actually out of Composure, who was a really nice filly and ran second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and looked like she was going to beat Storm Flag Flying that day in the Breeders' Cup. So there's a really good maternal line there. It looks like Brad Cox is debuting a couple of 3-year-olds here, James, that probably has some pretty high aspirations for. And they're both by Curlin, and we know that he loves Curlin. So my guess is we're probably going to see these two in some significant spots as the year goes on.
Yeah, I agree. And, that Exploration, her is a half to 5 graded stakes winners, including a couple grade 1 winners you referenced. Exploration and Cornishman, it looked like they worked in company back in December once, but the last couple of works, they've been working the same distance, I think, apart. And Exploration's been working much faster. So I do think picking up Lee Saez, he's going to be bet down for 5-2, and I'm excited to see him run. My what else is going to be on the after a couple slow weeks, the road to the Kentucky Derby Series picks up this weekend. Point values are elevated. Comp stakes will be 20 points to the winner. And we have got the winner and the third place finisher from the gun runner. Track Phantom and Nash are back for the race. Track Phantom's pegged 9-5 morning line favorite, but I think Nash, who was 1-2 last time, will actually probably be the public's betting choice. He's drawn to the inside of Track Phantom, and after utilizing stalking tactics last time, I expect Nash to show high speed from the gate and Track Phantom to be sitting in up close second, tracking him. But from a multi-race perspective, this is the exact kind of situation where unless I absolutely cannot separate 2 runners that are going to be a short price, I am going to take a stand against one of them. And the one I'm going to fade is Nash. I thought his maiden win 2 starts back was a little misleading. He had everything so easy and, basically just galloped home in the stretch. But I didn't like his stride stretching out to 2 turns. Despite his pedigree, I'm a little bit worried about longer distances for him. And at short odds, I'm going to fade Nash in the Lecomte Stakes on Saturday. Ashley.
Do you like any long shots in there?
Well, I think Ethan Energy is going to probably be the third choice, has some upside. I'm just a little bit worried about the race dynamics for him. But, if anybody's going to beat him, I would take him. Can Group's the other little bit of wild card. There's a horse Lat Long that I took a little bit of a look at that could be okay for McPeak. But I think Can Group, he just needs a good showing, Darin. I mean, even if he ran 3rd or 4th, they could keep going. He's like a kind of horse who might be targeting the Jeff Ruby Stakes this spring, but he needs to have a good showing on dirt first to really sort of be a Derby contender.
Yeah, don't really know what to do with him yet because when it comes to dirt, obviously Good Samaritan did his best running on turf, but he's actually been known to actually produce some decent dirt runners. The debut was 5 furlongs going over a sloppy sealed track, so we're really not going to make too much of that in terms of his prospects going long on dirt. Then his second start, he ran into Timberlake, who absolutely freaked that day, winning by 9 lengths, and the runner-up came back to win next time out as well. So I wouldn't see that third place finish beaten 15 lengths by Timberlake and just toss the horse and say, well, he's not going to be able to run on dirt. I do think there is some upside here and kind of curious. They're going to give him a shot. My guess is if he doesn't run well here, they'll regroup and maybe head back to synthetic and to the turf. But I think Can Group, is one that you need to pay attention to because I wouldn't use either of those 2 dirt starts to make a decision that he can't run on dirt yet.
Depending on the pace setup, Track Phantom and Nash both are going to be those early pace setter types. So we could see a late runner. Ethan Energy could be one of those late runners, and Can Group as well as a closer. So we'll see what happens. Well, aside from the Kentucky Derby prep and the Oaks prep, we also have the Grade 3 Louisiana on Saturday at Fairgrounds. And I talked about this on the Racing Roundtable a little bit as well, but we have 3 prominent sophomores making their 4-year-old debut. 2 of them are on the Triple Crown Trail. We had Red Route 1 and Confidence Game. We also have Saudi Crown for Brad Cox, who finished 10th in the Breeders' Cup Classic, but has a chance to rebound here. And he's now going to be the lone speed, I think, in this field because we had Kapuna scratch from this race. So Saudi Crown's the 8-5 morning line favorite, but we also have Smile Happy at 9-5, a closer, a late presser type who I think can rally late and potentially win here. But I wanted to note Red Route 1, 3 straight races with triple digit late pace figures. I know he's 0 for 6 distance of 1 1/16 of a mile, but I think has a chance in his 4-year-old debut maybe to come out here and get upset with a longer price because the top 2 morning line choices, very, very unappealing price there at 8-5 and 9-5. And Red Route 1 also drew the rail post, winning at a 31% clip right now in 8.5 furlong races. So if you're looking for a price there, give it a shot.
I'll be shocked if Saudi Crown isn't odds on. I think it's going to take all the lion's share of the money, and there'll be a gap between him and Smile Happy, even though they're like one peg apart on the morning line. And really, I mean, 5-star General, he's a little bit key to the other horses. He comes off that wire-to-wire win in the Tenacious. I don't know if he's quick enough to run with Saudi Crown early, but everybody else in the field would like to see him show high speed and at least put some pressure on him on the front end because Saudi Crown has a lot of speed, and heck, he was 7-1 in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's going to take some action in this spot.
Yeah, I would have thought Saudi Crown more like 6-5 and Smile Happy 5-2-ish. But the one thing with Saudi Crown is he is going to get pressure from 5-star General, and the fairground stretch is awfully long, and it takes a long time to get to the wire, even in the shortened stretch at 1 1/16. I probably would like Red Route 1 better if he had the full length of the stretch there, without the abbreviated 16th pole finish. But this race really comes down to how much pressure 5-star General applies to Saudi Crown. If he's quick enough and pushes him along, something else can happen. But Saudi Crown just has a class edge over a lot of these. And if Smile Happy had a race coming into this, I might be a little bit more keen on him. Not really sold on him coming in off the layoff like this and running into a bit of a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I really liked Saudi Crown last season and thought he had a chance maybe in that Breeders' Cup Classic for an upset. I mean, obviously he was 7-1 at post time, but yeah, just didn't really show up in the way I was expecting. I do think he's going to be really tough to beat here, but don't love that price at 8-5. And as you said, could probably take even more money.
Happy American is the closer I would use. Looks like he's rounding back into form. He likes the fairgrounds. So
well, he did win this race last year.
Yeah, so. He won this race, and he got to step up against maybe tougher competition this year. But when he's on his game, he's good.
All right, well, that's all the time we have today for the TwinSpires Jury. Check out those promos at twinspires.com or the TwinSpires app, and we'll be back next Thursday with more best bets and faves.